here stood in this field? Because I'm here to talk about noise. Allegedly, those things, wind turbines, make noise. Allegedly. Not just harmless noise. Listen to this. Living close to wind farms can lead to a greater risk of heart disease, panic attacks and migraines. Tinnitus, vertigo, sleep deprivation can even trigger nightmares in children and stop their brains developing properly. A group of symptoms called Visceral Vibratory Vestibular Disturbance, or VVVD. Another term for the use for that is Wind Turbine Syndrome. Infrasonic to ultrasonic noise emitted by wind turbines. Ultrasonic is high frequency, infrasonic is very low frequency. Now, we live in a world absolutely full of things that make noise, from mobile phones to underground trains. The countryside is full of things that make noise, like that combine harvester that started the clip off. To give you an indication of just how quiet modern wind turbines are, unlike some older models which did thump and clunk a bit, the turbine we're nearest to isn't that one there. It's this one right here. We are stood at the base of a turbine. We couldn't get... Let me put the camera right against the cage. There you go. The camera is now against the tower. If I put the camera against the combine harvester, it would probably shake it to pieces. That's the difference between the noise level of, say, a combine harvester, or a tractor, or an underground train, or a huge diesel locomotive, and one of these things, which after all, technologically, is nothing more than a giant table fan. There are issues you have to take into account when planning wind farms. For instance, where I'm stood here, if this was a house, the blades passing the sun would cause something called shadow flicker. We have to be careful of things like that. But the solutions are simple and straightforward regarding planning. I myself would love to live near a wind farm to watch the turbines going round. And things like shadow flicker can be scientifically and carefully designed out using well-known methods practiced by the planning industry. You know, no machine that generates power on a truly massive scale, big enough to help offset our climate change emissions, is going to go completely unnoticed. But when it comes to generating electricity, they cannot be any more inoffensive than wind turbines. Over there is a power station. Way over there, there's a kind of bush sticking up on the horizon. Well, to the right of it, there is a power station. It's where I work. It's about 30 miles away, and I can see it from here, but it's lit up against the sky, so it's light grey against light blue, so you probably can't see it. Oops, I'm letting the camera drift up. In that power station, notwithstanding the huge steam turbines that spin so fast the tips of the blades actually go twice the speed of sound, notwithstanding the noise that they make, talk about ultrasonic vibration. At the other end of the scale, infrasonic vibration are the machines that smash up the coal, grinding it into dust. Those machines grind up coal at a rate flat out of 1 ton every 6.5 seconds. They produce the sort of vibration that you would regard as biblical. They produce the sort of vibration. Resting on the board brace here. They produce the sort of vibration that rattle the spanners on the workbench in the workshop where I've spent nearly 10 years. They produce the sort of vibration that you have to wear earplugs, otherwise you risk serious hearing damage. They produce the sort of vibration that have cracked all the tiles in the gents' restroom, because of the vibrations of the underlying masonry. The building has had to be designed as if in an earthquake zone to cope with the constant shaking and hammering of these huge coal grinding mills, the seismic vibrations of which easily must escape the power station into the surrounding community. Yet the nearby Lady Grove housing estate has been recently found, in terms of the health of its inhabitants, to be one of the healthiest in the country. I think it's the one with the longest life expectancy of the average working man. So the power station, for all its emissions and whatever, seems to have had, on the basis of that study alone at least, no discernible effect on the health of the nearby population. Forget the greater issues of emissions and climate change. We're talking local here. Now, I cannot get over the fact that here's somebody cashing in on people's fears about the unknown, in this case wind turbines, with the vanishingly small amounts of noise they make, when people live in a world where there is unbelievable amounts of noise. Think of all the people near the coast who've lived for centuries with the waves crashing on the beach. Tens of thousands of tons of water crashing onto the beach. That's a lot of noise. Think of people who live near rushing rivers. Think of the people who live in cities with underground trains vibrating the ground. People who drive locomotives with a great diesel engine right behind their back, shaking them for their entire working lives. And this guy in his combine harvester steaming up the field here. It's, it's got an enormous great diesel engine in the back. He's in his combine harvester, being subjected to the sort of vibration levels many orders of magnitude greater than what's in this article here. Yet there seems to be no concern about combine harvester drivers or tractor drivers or lorry drivers or the rest of us who live near freeways and motorways and airports and ferry ports, those of us who travel on ferries with their thumping vibrating diesel engines rattling the floors. The world is a noisy place. The world is actually, the modern world we have created is a truly spectacularly noisy place. I'll get right over here. About noise. That's what most people regard as noise. The countryside has played host to tractors, combine harvesters, and all manner of specialist machinery, not to mention giant power stations and locomotives crossing the landscape and roads and freeways. Nobody ever bothers about those, but as soon as they start putting up wind turbines, you get all of this stuff about wind turbine syndrome. The problem is, the people who don't want wind turbines don't say, oh, we don't like the look of them, because when they take a fair place in the debate, in the planning debate, say they're in a minority, they don't like the look of them. Most people do like the look of them, and therefore, on the whole, the wind turbines get approved. They don't do that. What they do is they invent all this scaremongering, lying in effect, just lies. Wind turbines don't work. Wind turbines are noisy. Doesn't sound terribly noisy. Wind turbines thump and bang. Wind turbines can damage our children. Wind turbines use more electricity than they generate. Wind turbines require more energy in their construction than they ever generate during their lifetime. These very actual